A momentous past 24 hours for China that will set the course for the next year. At the opening of the National People's Congress, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang made several headlines, from the military to the economy to the environment. He announced several targets for China. On the economy, growth of 7.5%. That's down 0.2 from economic growth this past year due to promised reforms. And for the military, a spending increase on a scale we haven't seen since 2011. For the environment, the premier announced a war on pollution to clean natural resources in places like Beijing. We have full coverage. CCTV's Ai Yang is leading our team in Beijing.
Well, it was the first time for Li Keqiang to deliver the government work report as China's premier. And first of all, he reviewed work in 2013, saying there has been more difficulties than expected, but also the results had been better than expected. And also, he went on to talk about targets in 2014, including some of the very important figures, such as China's GDP growth target and CPI growth target for 2014.
China in the spotlight with a blueprint for 2014. It's Premier Li Keqiang's first work report since taking office. Addressing some 3,000 NPC deputies, Li sent out a clear message. The country needs greater and deeper reforms.
We must break mental shackles and vested interests with great determination. We must pursue economic structural reform as a key step within deeper comprehensive reforms in all areas.
The premier listed some key areas: administrative systems, tax, the financial sector, rural land ownership, household registration, and social welfare. Li Keqiang pledged to streamline government structures and let markets play a decisive role. The target for the annual growth has been set at 7.5%, lower than last year's 7.7%. Premier Li says the government will maintain a reasonable pace of GDP growth while continuing to improve growth quality, enhance efficiency, and reduce negative side effects. Many believe the continued drive for reform will mean slower but more sustainable long-term growth. One key factor in that change will be how successfully China shifts from investment and export-fueled growth towards increased domestic consumption. The government is also determined to cure the headline-grabbing issue of air pollution by introducing stricter emission controls. And there was a strong emphasis on law in the premier's speech.
We will fully implement the basic strategy of law-based governance, act in accordance with the law in all our government works, and be guided by law in both thinking and action in performing our duties.
Li said corruption will be punished without mercy, with a number of new initiatives to expose wrongdoing at high levels. But meeting public expectations on beating corruption remains a tough task. Li Keqiang also reviewed the government's work in 2013. He highlighted the new government's achievements on growth, coupled with improved living standards. Over the next 2 weeks, NPC lawmakers will review the work report. They will raise suggestions and vote on national policies. Premier Li Keqiang's work report signals that China is in the deep water reforms as it enters into a more open and market-oriented economy. Navigating the course is likely to require changes in just every aspect of life. Lawmakers have agreed on the need, but there are many breakers for the governments to clear before reaching the shore. Han Bin, CCTV, Beijing.
Well, we can see it's a new day dawning. The sun's out. It's a new day. What can we expect from today's meeting?
Well, today some 5,000 lawmakers and political advisors will come here at the Great Hall of the People again and discuss the work report the Premier delivered yesterday and also the budget plan for 2014. And in the meantime, today, a number of press conferences will be held by the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Finance, and also a number of CPPCC members with a financial background will also answer questions from the press to elaborate on economic-related reforms.